Okay, yeah. So why do we need join?
Yeah, joins are used to combine both the tables and like we're retrieving the matching data or unmatching data, like by using different joins, left join, left outer, right
Okay,
outer join.
so you mentioned that both tables, right? So
Yeah,
both means we can join only two tables.
we can join more than two tables.
Okay. So is it possible for me to join, let's say, T1 table with T2 and T3?
Uh, T1 with T2, T2 with T3, like that we can do.
Okay, you come again?
T1 with T2,
Yeah.
T2 with T3,
T1 with T2 and T2 with 3.
with T3.
Okay, so you are saying I can do this and I can do T2 and T3, right?
Yes.
So again, we are only doing the join of two tables only, right? So
Yeah.
is it not possible to join three tables?
Yeah, it will be possible to join three tables.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking now.
Yeah.
How can we join three tables or more than two tables? If is it possible to join? If yes, then how is it possible? If no, then it's cool.
It will be possible, but exactly I don't know like how we will join.
Okay, okay.
Like
If you don't know, then cool. Let me answer, right. So
yeah,
are you aware of extents or inheritance in Java?
yeah. Inheritance.
Can I do this thing B and C? Can I extend two class simultaneously?
Yeah. No, no, no.
I mean, what's your final answer?
No, we cannot extend two classes.
So multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java.
Multiple inheritance is allowed, but at a time we cannot extend two classes.
Come again?
At a time, we cannot extend two classes.
So if we cannot extend two classes in a single go, then how is it possible to have multiple inheritance? Can you explain it?
By using, we can implement interfaces. By implements, we can do the two classes. With extents, we cannot do.
Okay, so you mean to say that for a class
Mm.
to inherit another classes, multiple classes, it's not possible. But for
Yes.
interfaces, we can inherit multiple classes simultaneously. So multiple inheritance is allowed for interfaces, but not for Java, right? Not
Yeah.
for classes.
Yeah.
So great. So this is one of the drawbacks of Java, right? And
Yes.
I mean, because Java don't allow multiple inheritance, that's the only reason they have introduced interfaces. Otherwise, you won't find interfaces in languages which provide multiple inheritance.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell me that, like, this is the thing, right? Then if I want to join a table with B and C, can
Yeah.
I do this in database?
A join B and
Okay,
C.
okay, okay. Wait. Let's not dive into that. But it's not interview is not going on, so we cannot do, right. If you like
Yeah.
in a class, we do this, and then we will do this, right.
Yes.
This is the way we are going. This is called hierarchical inheritance, right.
Yeah.
So in the similar way, we will going to join the tables. We will join A will join to B, and the joined A and B can be joined with C, right. This is how we join
Yes.
the multiple tables. So it is not possible to directly join, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
In hierarchical level we join. So that would be the first thing, right. And why you mentioned that we want to join two tables? Why do we want to join two tables?
To get the data from both the tables.
So why not, if we want data from both the tables, so why not to save the data in a single table?
Because it might be like what we can say, there will be storage per purpose and number of columns will be increased. Uh, so
So
instead of maintaining in a single
what's
table,
so what's the
uh,
issue if the number of columns will increase? I mean,
uh,
let me answer you this, that this is not the reason that number of columns will increase, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, all right, cool. See, it depends on the normalization forms, right? We are not going to cover this in our course, but we will see how to create a database, right?
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
why. Okay, you can even check the way we have written our database over here, right? Why have
Yes.
we
Yes.
why have we created multiple tables, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the if I'll create the users, right? If I'll try to join users with the orders, then what will happen? If I'll say that select as star from public users, right? So this is the one data, right? And
Yes.
if I'll do, okay, if I'll try to do or try to see the orders, then over here I'm just using user ID, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
whenever multiple user, same user is here, same user is here, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to enter all the details in these two, for these two rows, right?
Yes.
So this entire row will be duplicated over here, and the entire row will be
Yes.
duplicated again over here, right?
Yeah.
So duplicates is not allowed, right? It's going to take
Yeah.
up the space.
Yes.
So it is never the reason you will find a table with the 50 columns also, right?
Yeah.
Just it's not required. That it is not the case that just to reduce the number of columns in a table we are reducing. I mean we are breaking the table. We are
Yeah. Yeah.
breaking the table. There are different reasons which has been told in normalization form. So one is that we should not duplicate the data, right?
Yes.
So to
Yes.
remove the duplicacy, redundant in database it's called redundancy, right?
Redundancies.
So to remove the redundancy, we split. This is one of the very basic concepts that we use. All
Okay.
right. So cool. So we need to divide. One thing we know that we need to divide the data, right? And
Yeah.
also the thing is we need data as fast as we can. So
Yeah.
if we have, let's say that we allow the duplicate data, right? But to
Yeah.
create for a single entry, if we are even allowed to enter the duplicate data, then also if I try to enter the data, if I want to get the data, it would take a very large space when I need to send the data through the network, right? And
Yes.
also just to store the data, it's going to take a lot of space again.
Yeah.
So multiple reasons are there, but the number of columns is not one of them, right? So
Yes.
one thing is clear that we need to split the data into different tables, just to make
Yes.
sure that we are able to we can get the data in very fast way, and we can store the data in very fast way as well. Because if in
Yeah.
a single table I try to get the data and store the data, so there will be multiple indexes, right? So
Yeah.
which index to choose if I have 20 indexes in a table? So the query planning part we have already seen, right? How to optimize and how to see how much time is taking by a query.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the query optimizing part will going to take a lot of time, because
Yeah.
now they have to check that okay, out of 20 indexes which one to choose, which one will be better. So
Yeah.
just the query optimization will take a lot of time. Also, whenever we write, we put an entry in a database, and we have an index on a particular column, then that particular index is also gets updated. So if we
Yeah.
have 20 indexes for a single table, then 20 index is going to be updated. So what will happen? Update operation will become a lengthy, right? The
Yes.
duration for the or the latency of the update operation will become large or longer duration. So that's why we split the tables, and there are a lot of reasons also, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to dive deep into that now. So we know that this is absolute necessity to divide the tables, right? To divide the data
Yeah.
into different tables. But this is also a necessity sometimes that we want data from multiple tables, right? So
Yes.
there are two ways to get data from multiple tables. One is using the joins, right? And one
Yeah.
is using subqueries.
Yeah.
And using joins, what happens? We hold the data in the buffer, right? That would be RAM, right? So we hold the
Yeah.
data into the RAM by joining two tables based on certain criteria.
Okay.
So what will happen? And subqueries, I mean we'll on the later sessions we will see about the subqueries. There are different types of subqueries that we are going to cover. So, or we have covered the subquery part.
We had covered.
Okay, cool. So we have covered subquery part, right? Great. So
Yes.
see
Yeah.
what happens in subquery, that we get some data already, right, from a table, and then
Yes.
we can use it like in a select clause subquery, right? If
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want a single data from the users table, and the rest data I want it from the this orders table, right?
Orders. Yeah.
So what I can do, I can just directly use the subquery, right? Subquery would be more beneficial. Why should I store the data and do that, right?
Yeah.
So it is more, yeah, okay, now it is great. So we can compare. Okay, select star from public users, right? Users. So if I want data, select and and if I want select and ID. Let's remove the ID. I just want username, user first name and last name, right? And the order details. Okay, both I have used orders. Okay, select asterisk from public users and select asterisk from public orders, right? So
Yes.
I want the data of this table along with the username for
Okay.
user number 1, right? So how can I
Yeah.
do, how can I write the table data? Select, right?
Yes.
And select, and I can choose product ID and user ID. Okay, we have covered this also, right? I want product ID, user ID, and the
Yeah.
amount of the order, right? And creating
Yes.
it as well. So what I can do, of user 1, select first name
Name.
from public
Public dot
users
users.
where ID equals to 1, right?
Where it is equal to.
As username.
um,
And again, the second thing that I'm going to do is select
Select.
product name, right? Product name would be the column, I guess, from public products.
Products.
Okay, where, and over here again a subquery, right? Nested subquery
Yeah.
inside a subquery.
Yeah.
Then I will do select where, and let's wait, but one user can order multiple, right? Multiple things. So I cannot, let's choose only that user which has ordered one item, 3. So
Yeah.
instead of 2, let's select 3. Okay, I cannot change the above query. Okay, so let's try to work with the one only, one also. So over here I want the username 1, so I will get the Naresh, right?
Yes.
Then over here I will get 2 orders. Okay, so 2
Their ID is
orders,
equal to 1.
what's ID I will get? So I will get the list which will not. Okay, what I can do, I can join the names, but then I need to use the group by. So let's not use now, right? Let's not use the product ID. Let's just directly use as username we get, and then let's take product ID. Let's take product ID only, product ID.
Okay.
And from public
Public.
users, public orders, and let's take user ID as well, and user ID as well. Okay, my bad. User ID as well, multiple users where ID equals to 1.
Username, product ID, user ID. Yes.
But in the users table, in the orders table, is there only one order from the user ID? No, right? The thing
No,
is,
two
I
orders.
have chosen ID over here, right? I don't
Yeah.
have to choose ID, I have to choose user ID.
One's correct.
So now the 2 orders I will get, right? And the
Yes.
both orders are of same product, right?
Yeah.
Even one more thing I can do, if it is possible. Yes, it is possible, right? So what I can do is that we have already seen that in the later parts, and the last name, right? Okay, we can add. You understand what I'm doing over here?
Yeah. Yeah. Combining first name and last.
Yes. I just concatenated it, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this is all. I mean, if people don't know, then it becomes complex for them, but otherwise it's very easy. Okay, cool. Let's move it. So this is the one thing, right? So we are not doing anything. We are just taking one data from. This is
Yeah.
we are just taking 2 data from a table. We are not saving the data in a buffer, right? So
Yes. Yes.
we are first trying to get data from the orders table, and later on we are executing this query, right? So this is how we do it. But the thing is, it is not sure that if we are writing a subquery, then it's not sure that every time it will use a subquery, it will execute it as a subquery as well, right? Analyze. Okay, so over here we can see index. Okay, linear indexing. Okay, so normally it has been executed, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes you will see what happens. When we write subqueries, it converts them. Database choose to convert them into the joins, right? Sometimes
Yes.
joins are better, sometimes subqueries are better. But the
Okay.
reverse does not happen. If we write join, then join will happen. No subquery will be created. But if we use the subquery, then there are chances that database will convert it into joins, right?
Yes.
Just give me 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, let's move on then. So we have seen one way, right? One way to get the data from the users table. We just want a user ID, right?
Yes.
Now, how can we do this thing again? So there, we one thing that we know and one thing we should know. All right, let's check one thing. So now we know that why we require this thing, right? Why we require joins, right? Because we have to divide the table, right? We have to divide the data into the different tables. That
Yeah.
thing is for sure, and we want those data to get access as well, right?
Yeah.
So there are two ways to get data from multiple tables. One is joins and one is subqueries.
Subqueries.
Subqueries are usually faster, and the reason is because we are not joining the two tables, right? And especially in case where there are millions of records. If
Yeah.
I have 10 million records in one table and 10 million records in another table, if I want to join them, then I have to
Yeah.
hold a lot of data, right? Let's say if there are
Yeah.
one-to-one mapping, then I
Yeah.
have to hold the data in my buffer. That would be my RAM for X amount of time, and also then I have to take data from that area, right? So
Yes.
that's the thing that which makes the joins costlier. And in case of live production environment, there are only 5 second, 10 second, max 20-second query that you can hit on a production environment. So
Okay.
if you try to get data using the joins, there are high chances that you will not going to make it, especially if you
Okay.
try to join three tables. So that's why if
Okay.
you just need a primary key or if you need some other data, then you can use the subqueries. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
subquery is important, especially in case of payment database and in the production environment. Cool.
Okay.
So let's see joins, right? Joins has a very okay. We can go to any of the topics. Okay, wait. So this thing and even okay, wait. Let's just choose the next one. Okay. There was a link for not a scalar. Okay, which is the table that we use a lot, which is the stack overflow, right?
So,
Stack overflow, right? If Stack Overflow had a diagram, I've seen. Okay. No. Okay, cool. I don't have access to that particular link now. Cool. Earlier it used to have one I mean diagram which was very cool. Okay,
mm-hmm.
so let's now we can go to anyone. So see, there are different joins there, right? And usually these
Yes.
four joins are the common join. So
Yeah.
left join, whenever we want data from the left table, we're going
Mm-hmm.
to see how it happens. So whenever we want the data, complete data from the left table, and
Mm-hmm.
some common data if exist, remember if
Okay.
exist, from
If
the right
exist.
table, right? So this will be the join, right? Common data. This is the common data. So
Okay.
if we want data in this way, then we will prefer left join, right? If we want
Yeah.
data in the right table, right, and the common
Mm.
data and all the data from the right table, then we will use the right join.
Yeah.
Inner join we will use if we want only the common data,
Matching that.
and full outer join will be there if you want the entire data, right? Data from
Okay.
both the tables. Then there are self join also, when we join our table with ourselves only, table A with again table A, employee table again with the employee table, right?
Yeah.
So now what we are going to do, we are going to see the left join, right join, and we are going to see the inner join and all the others, these things, right? So
Yeah.
let's go and check the practical in data. So let's see the users table. Let's do work with the users table and
Orders.
the orders table, public orders. Cool. So let's say now I want data. I want to implement the left join, right? So
Yes.
it's very easy. From public. Now let's say I want every data from users table, right?
Table.
I want every data from users table, and now I want to do the left join, right?
Yeah.
Left join. SQL is case insensitive, but I'm just writing in the board which
Mm.
we are using, right? Which concept we are using right now. So
Yeah.
I want to do the left join, right? Left
Yeah.
join I will do on table orders, right?
Orders.
Right? And now I want to join these two tables, right? But
Yeah.
how will I join these two tables? I want something, right, to join these two tables. How will I
Yeah.
join this row to one of the rows over here, right? In join we
Yeah.
map one row to with the another row of another table. This is
Mm.
how we do it, right?
Yes.
So now I want to join this Naresh with the order ID, one of the columns of here, right? But how can I do
Yeah.
that? I need a foreign key, right?
Yes. Yes.
User ID is the foreign key over here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I'll do, select asterisk, right? Give me every column from users table,
User
right?
string.
Left join I have done, right? So what is
Yeah.
left? Over left is users, right?
Yeah.
And I will say, and I'm joining users with left join orders, right?
Orders.
But on which data I need to make a join? I will make a join on ID, right?
ID.
Then alias we have seen, right?
Yeah.
In earlier classes we have seen the alias. Why I'm doing this as well? The reason is because there might be a
In.
chance over here we have seen ID, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
ID and user ID, but ID is here as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So which ID to choose? So I need to choose dot
Ambiguity.
ID,
To eliminate ambiguity issue.
yes, to order dot user ID, right? So this thing we can do, and if I try enter, then this is the data that we are getting right over here, right? So
Yeah.
we have 9 rows, right? Why 9 rows? Because one has ordered twice, right? And two has
Yeah.
ordered twice. So
Yes.
over here you can see that over here Unisa is number 7, right?
Mm.
Okay, so Unisa also has odd. Okay, Unisa don't. Okay, over here Unisa. Okay, Unisa don't have order, right? In order
Yeah.
there is no order of Unisa, right? So see over here. Okay, my bad. So see over here in this column, left join. Why? When we have done the left join, so the data from the left table is users, right? It will be
Yes.
completely there, right? If you try to compare
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
data, this entire data is present over here.
Yes.
See, if you try to see Orisa haven't made any orders, then too I have Unisa's data right over here,
Yeah.
because I have data, entire data I have from the left table, right? Entire
Yes.
table of left, and only common data of table 2 I
Yeah.
have, right?
Right.
So do we have okay, so it is not possible to have a order with no user, right? So the other way around is not possible. So the one thing
Yeah.
we have seen, right? So let's do the complete different thing. Let's select star from public, okay, not asterisk, okay, let's get every column, and then from users table, right? From public dot users as you, and then we'll do right join, right?
Right.
And right join on public orders, right?
Yeah.
And then on which column we will do same as, okay, let me make it caps, okay, u dot id equals to
Yes.
o dot, okay, let's
User
make
ID.
it o as o, and that o dot user id, right? User id, one thing. If I
Yeah.
enter now, you will see there will be no Nisa.
Yeah.
See, the number of rows has reduced to 8. Earlier it was 9, right? Okay,
Right. Yeah.
so there is a Unisa, but there is no Unisa over here because Unisa haven't made any orders. So now we
Yeah.
have data, entire data from the right table, and left from the left table. And left table is which one? Left table is user, right? Because on the
User.
left hand side of the right join is users table, right?
Users.
So the left table, which is users, don't have the entire data. Unisa is missing, right? Unisa is missing, and the
Yeah.
reason is Unisa is not satisfying this criteria.
Yeah.
This criteria is not satisfied by the user Unisa, and we have
Yeah.
right join, so entire data of the orders table is there, right? 8 orders are there, right? You can check, entire 8 orders will be here.
Yes.
Order ID 1 to 8, and order ID, where is order ID? Okay, this is the order ID, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This is the order ID. This is the ID of users table, and this is the ID of orders table, right?
Honestly.
You can check
Yes.
from here: ID product ID user ID, ID product ID user ID, credited price, right?
Yeah.
So this is the right join, where
Correct.
entire data from the right is there and the matching data from the left is there, right?
Left.
And now what I want, the reason is, can I apply the filters over here? So where price, okay, let's check, okay, let's check first which order has how much price from public orders. Okay, 100, 500, cool. So we have total 8 orders, right? So
Yes.
I'll say give me everything from public orders.
Orders
My bad. Users,
left
users,
dot
and
users
I'll give
left
the right
join.
join on public orders. Cool. And you, as is not mandatory in the from clause, right? We have got this.
Okay.
So you and write from public orders on, then user dot
U
id
dot id
equals to order
is
dot
equal to O dot
order dot user id,
user underscore id.
and here this okay. You
You specified more than once. Oh,
okay, okay, my
getting
my
the question.
bad, my bad. Let's do it over. And now if I try to enter, then I get all the data, right? 8 orders were there and I get entire data, right? But I don't want it.
Yeah,
So what I
yeah,
will do, can I add the filters over here where price is greater than 100? So now I get only 6 rows, right? Because there are 2
yeah,
orders with 100. So I
yeah,
can add the filters over here after join as well, right? One thing.
yeah.
So with joins also, it is possible to add the where clause, right? To add the
Yes,
filters. So can I group by also? Group by u dot user u dot id. So again, when I try to do the group by, then I cannot ask for the entire data, right?
yeah,
So this is the basic group by thing that we will see. So what data I can ask? I can ask user ID only, right? Or the aggregate functions, right?
yeah.
So I'll get the user ID, but cause I have joined the two tables. Now what I
Yes.
can do? Can I get the user u dot username? Is it possible for me to get the username?
No.
The reason is I cannot get the username, right? But if I try to do u dot username, right? I can only get select the
Mm.
value by which I am doing the group by, or
Yeah,
aggregate function I can use. Though both things I can use, right? So
yeah.
I try to use the first name over here, right? First name also. Then if I try to do the use the first name, u dot first name, so u dot username. Okay, my bad. Over here, user dot first name is required here.
Yeah.
First name, right? Now I get the this data, right?
Yes.
And okay, this is 6. Why this is 6 rows? Because 2 users, 1 and
Or
2 ordered twice, right?
yeah, yeah.
So now I want the username, the user ID, username, and I also want the price, the price of which they have ordered, right?
Yeah.
So I get right Swati in these things. So Atul has ordered twice,
Yeah.
600, and Naresh has ordered twice again, right?
Twice.
We can check, select
Start from
restrict from public orders,
orders.
right? So from here we can check the first one order of the one ID Naresh was 400, and the second order of the Naresh was of 300, right? So the
Yeah.
total is 400.
100.
So it is easy for us to get the data, right? So the same thing
Yes.
if we try to do in the subquery, then we need to pass the ID again and again. We need to write the correlated subquery, right?
Yeah.
And the correlated subquery is little hard to write.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. People tend, because joins is very easy to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we compared it with when we want data from different tables, and when we want the data from different tables and we want to use the group by and some other filters, right? We are doing the
Yes.
groupings, and then we can have we can write, even we can have write the having as well, right? Over here. So it will be
Yeah.
completely fine if we want to write having also. So we can do the order by. Everything is possible because the data that we have created, it will be treated as a table only. So
Yeah.
whatever we have learned till now will be possible, right? So we are getting this data, right? So let me
Yes.
order it by id, right? Order by id, right? It will,
Yeah.
now it is in the sending orders, right?
Yes. Sir.
Because I have ordered by id and it has taken order id by default.
Yes.
So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So cool. So and now what we can do is, if I'll say that okay, ordered by o dot id, o dot id, okay, o is not there. Okay, cool. I cannot use it, right? I need to use it in the having clause. That's why u dot id I have chosen. That's why it was use over here, right? So cool. So I'm not going to order it by the o.id, then I have to use in the join also, right? Group by o.user id. So I have used
Yeah.
user id and then this thing. Cool, no issues. So we have seen, right? We have done, we can make the joins, we can create the data by using the joins, and then we can filter the data out, right? And we can even provide the sorting or filtering
Yes.
or group by, right? Everything we can do. So that
Yeah.
that would be the one thing that we have seen. Now we have seen the left join, right join, right? Two joins we have seen.
Yes.
Now I want data from both the tables, right? Entire data if I want. Select every column, right? Select every column from public
Public dot
users, right?
users
Then I
you
want full outer
the
join,
join.
right? Then orders, public orders, okay, u and o and on u dot id equals to o dot user id. My bad. And right. So
Yes.
now you can see I have entire data, right?
Yeah.
Because if some data were missing in the users, but in our case it is not possible because we have added a lot of constraint, right? Foreign key constraint is there, so we
Yeah.
cannot create any order without the user, right? So because our system is consistent, so that's why we
Mm.
cannot create that. But if there were a user, there was an order without a user, then that data will also be present, right? Without the user, as right
Yeah.
now we have it over here, right? So but it is not possible to display that over here because we need to remove the constraint first, then only we will be able to do that.
Display. Yes.
Okay, so we have seen the outer constraint, outer full constraint. Oh, my bad. We have seen the full outer join as well. So the
Yeah.
join that is left is inner join, right?
Yes.
So with inner join, I want the common data, right? Not the
Yeah.
data which is present in both the tables.
Yeah.
So only common data I want. So I will ask for from public, then users, you, then inner join, public orders, and same thing on u dot id equals to, and then o, let me write o again, o dot user id, right? Same thing, nothing has changed. So the thing is, because our system is consistent again, so we are not going to get a lot of different data.
Yeah.
So this the response will be same as the right join, right? In
Oh, yeah.
the our output for the full outer join was
Yeah.
exactly same as the right outer join, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, right join. So but the
Right.
thing is, if there were little less rows, right? Because our system is consistent, we have created our system which is consistent, that's why we are getting data in this way.
Yeah.
So and that's what we will see in the production as well. But if let's say that there are case where the data was missing, right? There were a lot of orders which does not match, there were users which does not match the data, so we will not get any empty data, right? Let's
Yeah.
say for example, when I do full outer join, there is a column, right, where half data is present, right? So
Yeah.
this thing will not happen with the inner join, because inner join will get only those data which will be memorized
Match.
in the both tables.
Match.
So that's the difference, and you have seen you can play it with your own terms with this. And if you want a little more differentiation, then we need to create the database in such a way, or we have to remove the constraint that we have already added.
I'll prepare this on my
Yeah,
own.
you can prepare the data on your own. And now what we need to see, we have
Self
seen the
join.
self join, right? So self join is nothing. Okay, let we have to check an example for the self join. Self join is very common question from a self join is employee is a manager, and employee is an employee as well, right? So
Yeah.
we need to find a user and their manager number, em- employee name and their manager number. This is the very basic SQL question, which 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 was very common in earlier days, and this is a question of inner join, right? So
Yeah.
let's check our orders and something else. That can we, how can we create a question for self join? So No, in this case it's not a self join. Like, okay, user also not of a self join. Okay, with our database, with the structure that we have in our database, we have no such thing that's making. I mean, that can be used as a foreign key in the table again, right? Because this ID, I mean, we need two IDs, right? Because we need to, for join we need a foreign key, right, to
Yes.
join. So if in a employee table is like employee ID there, right? ID will be there, and then employee name will be there, right? And then there will be manager ID. So the manager ID
Mm.
is also employee ID, right? Because manager is also employee, right? So we
Yeah.
can use this manager ID as the foreign key for
Mm.
itself. So that particular question is the perfect example. So let's do one thing. Let's create that, right? Let's create a table.
Yeah.
How much time it's going to take? How we can create a table? Create table, right? And
A table
employees, right?
employee
And let's
open
add
close brackets
ID. Let's take ID integer primary key, and let's take name varchar
where
255,
250.
and I'm going to delete that table, right, later on.
Yeah.
And then manager
Manager
id
ID.
id
Yeah.
and not null.
Not
Right, and that's enough. Let's just take three data only, right? Okay,
yeah.
my bad. Not id, int, right? The table has been created. Let's check the employees, right? So this is the data that we have. Let's insert value, insert
Set
into employees,
employee
and values, and one,
values.
and let's say
Mm.
Ashok.
Sure.
And then a manager, let's say, what's your manager name?
My man Murali.
Come again.
Murali.
Can you spell it for me?
Murali.
RALI.
Murali.
Oh, okay, my bad. I need to add name. Okay, manager ID. Okay, shit. Okay, cool. I haven't added constraint, right? So I can add anything too. And insert into, okay, employee spelling is wrong. Employees. Okay, now why two string.
Only three columns. Like
Okay, my bad. Okay, Murli, the name is not
Murali is
Murli.
not required.
Yes, Murli not required, right? Too. Cool. So let's add again. Now over here, we will do Murli, right?
Yeah.
And over here, da, 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 we will do two, right? And
Yes.
let's say that Murli has a manager three,
Three.
right? And then we will add three. And who's the manager of Murli?
Uh, Raju.
Raju. Okay, Raju will be the manager. Cool. And let's say Raju don't have a manager. Cool.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, I will. Okay, okay. I have created null constraint, right?
Null
Uh,
construct.
cool. Let's say minus one, right? Need some value.
Yes.
So if we try to select the data from
From the
public
employee
users,
stream.
oh my bad, employees, then this is the data that we have, right? Now
Yes.
we need data from public employees, right?
Yes.
employees, right?
Yes.
Employees, and
Self.
as e as emp. Cool.
EMP.
And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do inner join. All right, why inner join? Because I want the common data, right, that we
Permanent
have,
access.
and that's why I'm using inner join. You can use any joins, but inner join is this is the question for inner join only, right? Because we want the common data that we have.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to join with public employees only, right? Employees as manager. Cool. EMP is there and manager is there, right? And what I will do on, because I want to inner join on some area, right? So what I'll do, I'll say that okay, please take employee dot
Without ID.
ID to join the table with manager
Dot
dot now.
manager ID.
Come again.
Manager dot employee ID.
Manager dot employee ID.
Manager ID.
Are you sure manager with manager ID? manager ID, right? And if I try to enter, then there is a exception,
Underscore
right?
ID is no.
Because
Remove
underscore
underscore.
is not there, right? Now I get the data, right? This,
Yeah.
and now how I can update the data. What I can do is I can select, I can just update the select. Let's, if I'll do that emp dot name, right,
Mm.
as employee name,
Okay.
and if I try to do manager dot name as
Yeah. Just
manager
manager.
underscore name, right? And employee name also we should use this underscore, right? If I run this, so Mulli is manager of Ashok and Raju is manager of Mulli, right? But the thing is, data what we have is reversed. It's not the employee name,
Yeah.
right? So the thing is, we have used some check in a wrong manner, right? That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So what thing I need to do? I need to map on employee manager, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what will happen, if I try to reverse it, if I do the employee manager, I want to map employee manager with manager ID.
Yes.
Okay, what happened? Wait, this is the query, and on emp, okay, manager ID I require. Okay, emp dot manager ID equals to ID, right?
Yeah.
Now the employee is Ashok and the manager name is Mulli, and the manager is Mulli, sorry, employee is Mulli and the manager is Raju, right? Data is making sense now, right?
Yeah.
This is very classic question, interview classic questions of inner join. If you
Yeah.
see this question, one must know that okay, it is a simple question of inner join, and we can
Yeah.
directly do it, right? Because otherwise we
Right.
cannot do it, right? The basic criteria for the inner join is that we should have something, some foreign key to join on the table again, right?
Yes. Yes.
And one thing that you need to understand that how we are joining this two table, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because over here we have seen, I mean I've just shown you the data, right? I ask you, are you sure, right? But the thing is,
Mm. Yeah.
if you will take some more time, then our session will becomes long lengthier. So that's why
Yeah. Yeah.
I just hit the data. But you would have just, if you are able to use a database, you can then directly check the data is right or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, if you don't know the data, right, and you were able to check the data, because I made sure that the data is making sense for you, right? Let's
Yeah.
suppose
Yeah.
if this was EMP1 and EMP2, then the data won't make sense for you, right? So you won't
Yes.
even
Yes.
able to make sure that okay, your query is wrong, right? Because the data is coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why,
Here we are using the same table, no? So that's why we don't need a foreign key relationship, right?
yeah,
For any column.
yes, yes. But over in this,
Yeah.
whenever you use the inner join, just make sure which table you want to join. I mean,
Mm.
you need to make sure that how you want the data, right? Whenever,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I am taking employee dot name, right?
Mm.
So I should take employee manager over here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So cause if I take employee manager ID, I'm matching with the equals to, well, what's okay? Okay, I think as manager on emp ID equals to, okay, so some query is not visible, right? It's manager dot
Yeah.
ID, right?
Yeah.
So I'm mapping the manager ID with employee ID, right? Then I'm
Yeah.
taking employee name and manager name. But I mean both are the name. So just this thing we need to make sure that we are taking it correctly, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that would be the inner join, right? And let's drop the
Yeah.
employee table for now. We can
Self join is also same.
come again. This was the self join.
Okay. Okay.
I mean there is nothing like self join. I mean over here we don't write self join. Self join is a concept that you will join to yourself.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, see, the thing is, are you able to see any self join over here?
Yeah. No. No.
No, no. So self join is you are joining to the same tables. A table is joining to
Yeah.
itself. It's called self join. Even though we have used this thing inner join over here, but it's an example of self join. Even if I do the left join, right join also, then also it will be an example of self join, because a table is being
Okay.
joined to itself, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, just wait a minute. I'll be back. Okay, I need to break. Okay, let me stop the recording for a while. Just give me. Let me. Okay, it's paused. I think it's why it's not responding. Streaming, stop recording. Okay, no, it should have shown me. Okay, recording is recording now. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. So we have completed the joins, right? But what we have seen four types of join, right? And the self join,
Yeah.
which is a type of. Okay, why what happening? Okay, cool, right? Okay, so we have covered the basic joins, but what one important concept that we need to know is the what else we want from a join. There are different types of join as well, but only these are important. Otherwise it's just a name. You can just
Yeah.
Google it whenever you want. These are the main joins that we use in daily life, right?
Yeah.
No other things we use. But there are other concepts that impact the joins, right? And even when we'll do the hibernate, when we go to the hibernate, then also we will face those things. Then over there what happens, there are annotations, right? One to many, many to one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it will be, and they will be responsible for making a join, right? So
Yeah.
we should be aware. Okay, 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 cool. Then we should be aware of these things, right? That what is one to one, right?
Yeah.
What is one to one, what is one to many, what is many to one, and what
Yeah.
is many to many, right? Based on these you will write only this, right? You will write at the right annotation and one to one, many to many, and then the hibernate will do the entire thing on its own, right?
Yeah.
So what is many to one or one to one? You are from CSIT background?
No mechanical.
Okay, okay, okay. So are you aware of these things or not?
The joins I am aware one to one, one to many, normal random example I can tell, but technically I don't know.
Okay, random example you can provide, but in
Yeah.
if you can provide in very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. One to one relation is like for suppose like we are giving a primary key to the column, right? It will not allow any duplicate. So it is only one.
No, no, no,
One.
no, no, no. Don't go with the primary key and all.
Okay. One to many in the sense like one person can put in more orders.
Yes, yes, yes. It is better.
One to many, and in vice versa, if we check, many orders can be placed by one person. That many to one.
Come again. Okay,
Yeah.
many orders can be, yes, yes, yes. It's mine to one. Cool, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
see, when we
uh,
okay, okay, wait. You have given two examples, right? For one to one
yeah.
and many to many, right? Okay, many
Yeah.
to one and okay, you have given for one user can have
For
many
one to
orders.
many and many to one, I had given.
Okay, okay. These two you have given, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
for
wait,
one.
wait, 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 wait. The way you will say it, this is not the way that you are saying. You are saying it correctly, but the thing is, one one row of a table A can be mapped with many rows of a table B.
Okay.
Is one to many, right? That's but
Yeah.
exactly what you are telling, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And in many to one, it can be like many rows from
Many.
a table B can be mapped to a one row of a table A, right?
Yeah.
Then you can give
Yeah.
the examples. Like for example, in orders and users table, a
Yeah.
single user can have multiple tables, right? So
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
to many will be there, right? So in
Yes.
Hibernate, what we will do, a user, public class user, a user can have multiple orders, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the user will have list of orders, cool.
Yes.
And over here it will be orders, right? And what I'll use over here, which annotation will I use?
One to many.
One to many. See, and now where the people get confused is that they they see the one, which one will be the one, this one will be the one of orders or this one will be the one of users, right?
One will be the users and many will be
Yes,
the orders.
yes. So one will be the users and many will be the orders, so that's how we will make one to many, right? So now
Yeah.
when I try to access the user, when I try to get the user object from the database, it will
Yeah.
by default use a join, right? Because we have already written one to many, so it will
Yeah.
write a join query and get all the orders as well, right?
Yeah.
We will see in the later classes what is eager
Yeah.
loading and lazy loading. You will be aware of that already, right? So we'll see it in
Yeah.
the later sessions, right? So we have seen many to one and one to many, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and now, so we have seen in now if I have a order class, right? Orders. If I have a class orders over the many thing over the class user, we have seen that I will be having a list, right?
Yeah.
So in a order table, Is it mandatory for me to have a user, or is it not mandatory for me to have a user?
It's mandatory.
No.
User ID, something like that.
No. See, it entirely depends on your architecture, right? We have seen in the earlier classes that
Yeah.
if I want to add the foreign key constraint, foreign key
Hmm.
constraint can be added without a column into the table, right?
Yeah.
You remember it, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it is not mandatory. If we have many to one relation, one to many relation, then it's not mandatory for the many part, right? With the
Mm-hmm.
orders to have a relation with or the foreign key, right? We can, without
Yeah.
that also we can add the foreign key. That's why we have covered the foreign key first, right? Constraint. So that's the one thing.
Yep.
So we are doing over here the database Hibernate part, right, over here right now. So
Yeah.
this is not mandatory for me to have. And another thing, it's not like we will be having like user ID over here, right? Because we are
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
with the objects, we are not having working with database. So there is nothing
Yeah.
that we will do like this user ID, right? We will do the users only. Hibernate will convert it to the user ID, right? We will be
Okay.
using it user only. Hibernate will be responsible to map it with the user ID.
Okay.
So let's.
And I have a question, Abhishek. Like, if suppose if we are not giving any user object into the orders,
Hmm.
like how the system will be stable? Like, every active user will there might be a orders which with the users who are not available in the system.
See, I just told you that thing. Please try to, I mean, what I have said earlier, that there can be a constraint, right? Without this user, still I
Mhm.
can have a constraint, right?
Okay.
I can still have a foreign key constraint, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I can have a foreign key constraint without having a user key, then I can
Yeah.
directly have it, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So let's remove that. And so you have given me example of these two. Please give me example of many to many and one to one.
Yeah, one row of taking for example of two tables A and B. One row of table A will be mapped to the another one row of table B.
Cool. Example.
Okay. Example, I can say like each bank account we can set up an UPI ID.
This is not an example. I mean, a real life example you need to provide, right? I mean, this thing we can do anything, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One to one. Suppose Copen. The person can use Copen only one time.
Come again.
Like Copen,
Open.
Copen code. Yeah, any offer or something that can be user can use that offer only one time while placing the order.
See, again, like I said, we need to a real life example we want, right? So if you use
Yeah,
Swiggy, do you use same coupon multiple times or you just use it only once?
only once.
And
No,
do
no,
you
no,
do
no.
you
Some
use
coupon
Swiggy?
I will use. Some coupons will use only once, and some coupon like
Yes,
for new user.
some coupons will you can use only once, right? Then it goes away.
Yeah,
But after
yeah,
2 to 3 months, same coupon is available to you again.
yeah, yeah.
The architecture for applying coupons is entirely different, right? So they make the user applicable, right? Yeah, the coupons
Yeah,
applicable, and some coupons they have that works with the timing, right? That you can
yeah, yeah.
only apply a coupon for 2 hours, right? Within 2 hours,
Yes,
or once in a restaurant only, right? So they have different
yeah,
things. I mean, it's completely different thing. Designing your coupon database or the voucher database. So it's completely different item, right? But the thing is, one
yeah.
coupon can be used by multiple times. It's not like one coupon can be used only one time, right? It can be used for multiple times. A real life example. Okay, fake example we can create many.
Mm.
One user will belong to a single country, right?
Yes, yes.
It is not possible for a user to be in two different countries simultaneously, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Language, he might speak multiple, but his current or the native
Multiple.
place will be only one. If he's
Yes.
from, if his native place is India, then it's India, right? It cannot be changed in the future as well. So the country is
Yes, yes.
stable, and the user ID. The user table will
Yeah.
have a country, right? User ID can have a address, right? Or address table can
Yes.
have the. I mean, there are multiple things. Usually, we should create an address table separately, and the address ID should be in the user
Mm.
table. But both things, we
Yeah.
can have an address ID table and then a country table, and we can have a user ID table. A user can have only one call, one country, right?
Yeah.
A user can be from one country. But the thing is, this is not the case of one to one, right? Because many users can be of India, right? It's example of many to one,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So what is an example of one to one? I mean, I think you are tired, right? Because you agreed for many to one to be one to one.
Not tired, just thinking like what should I say?
Okay, go
Something
ahead.
like that. Um,
Okay, this is your task, right? We are not going to dive deep into that because it's going to take some much
yeah.
time. Because if we should try to find out the practical examples, then it's going to take a lot of time. This can be your homework, right? You can let me know tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So you need
Yeah.
to find, see, one to one, main to one, and one to one is the most basic item, and the reason is also because we have already seen one table of the e-commerce, right? And e-commerce one works in such a way that these two things are mandatory, right? The answer for
Yeah. Yeah.
this, I will, the answer of this will be tricky. There are helping tables, right? There are helping tables
Yeah.
that exist to map between two tables. So that can have man-to-man relations, right? One thing. So instead of using searching this, you can search for this only, right? One to one you can
Yeah.
search. Man to many will be little complex maybe for you, or it may be
Yeah.
easy if you try to think about social media, because we have just used, we have used in our database till now, we have seen online e-commerce, right? So
Yeah.
if you try to think of social media, then can be a single user can be a friend of many users, right?
Yes. Yes.
And many users can be friend of many users.
Managers.
But again, it's a self join, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a user table only. And the thing again with the NoSQL, and this is a part of NoSQL, right? And graph
Mm.
database is there for making these things. Not this SQL database is not there for social media sites,
Okay.
because we need to make a graph, right? Which users are created, which other users. But
Yeah.
again, try to think in some different forms, right? If you try to think regarding just only e-commerce platform, then it
One
will be
to
tricky.
one. One to one. Employee and employee ID can be one to one, right?
Employee and
Employee ID. For employee ID, there is only one employee. For one employee only, there is one employee ID.
see one employee. If there is Google company, will there be only one user, one Ashok employee of Google? That would be the one to one, right? Only one table mapped to the different table, right? It is not possible.
Yes.
Google will have
Yeah.
multiple, right? So it will be many to one.
Yeah.
Okay, if you try to think in a linear fashion, then you won't be able to find the answer for these two, right? Because we have been doing all the things for these two only,
Yeah.
right? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's drop this. You can think on your free time.
Yeah.
And okay. So this was the important thing, that we go through one to one these annotations. So there are some terms, inversion side, right? So we will going to cover that in our Hibernate session only. We are not going to cover it over here. So, and that's it in the for our joins. So the inner join
Yeah.
is the only example that people usually ask. Then there are association. These things that we have seen, one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. These are called associations,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
we will see in later on classes. We will see mapped by, cascade, fetch. These things, target entity, and join. These are the notations that we usually use, and there are multiple, many more. We're going to just go inside the class and check what are the other features that we can use. So what we have seen, right, in uh, when we do the describe table, then we get the data, right? Over here
Yes.
we get the data. If we I try to use the orders, if we have constraint, so references is there, right?
Yeah.
So it will be mapped by with the
Yeah.
annotations whenever we use association.
Okay.
These are called, whatever we have covered, man to many, one to one, these are called associations, right? So we are just going to
Yeah.
use the associations, and based on the associations, the Hibernate will create the joins, right? Whenever you want to
Okay.
catch the data. and we are going to access this reference by map by. And there are other things like cascade effect. We will see later on what is a cascade effect. We will try to delete something, and all the related data also we want to get deleted, so we will use the cascade. We will see it later on. And only, okay, this thing is there, and then there are some other terminologies as well that one should know. So but we are going to cover it in Hibernate only. Before this,
Yeah.
we should just be aware that these associations happens, right? So there are the
Yes.
owning side and inverse side. These are the two terminologies that is used very very easily. So owner side is, I mean, I will just give you a just that the owner side is something that is responsible for managing the
Yeah.
associations, right?
Okay.
Because there might be a chance one table has the data and the table don't even know that there is something, there something exists, right? Because I can have only one data, like user data is not aware, right, that order is order, which order is there, right? But order is aware that user id exists, right, which user ids exist, because we have
Yeah. Yeah.
we have mapped this thing user id uh, with
Or yes.
orders, right? So what we have seen is that in the earlier examples, when we have added the joins, right, the
Yeah.
lists, then also you just, whenever I whatever I said, you just said yes, right, in that particular thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, it is not mandatory for users, right, to have a
Yeah.
link with the orders table. This is with us also, right? User table does not have anything, right? It knows
Yeah.
that it is referenced by the orders table. Where is the orders table, right? But it does not
Yeah.
have any reference, right, to the orders table.
Yeah.
It knows that order table, like, try to access this, but it does not know, right, whether it has or not, which orders it has or which order does not has, right? So overall we will
Mm.
see no order id, right?
Yeah.
So this is not the owning side. Owning side is the one who has the details of the relation. So order has the
Oh.
detail of the relation, right? So this is called inverse side, and that will be called owning side. We will
Okay.
cover this in the later sessions.
Okay.
Let's, I mean, the basic thing for this is we should be aware of these things, right? So how we are
Mm-hmm.
going to check it? Because it becomes hard to tell these things when people don't know the basics of joins and
Yeah.
associations. Cool. So let's end our session, or I am thinking, is there is something else that we can cover today? Uh, no, otherwise it will be of Hibernate things and Hibernate. What we can cover is, okay, any small topic. So see, there is a concept of view, right?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we have already covered the subquery, right?
Yes. Yes.
So are you aware of what is a view?
No. No.
Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm getting a call by mistake. Cool. The recording has been started. Okay, so we were
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, view. I'm thinking to cover more, right?
Yeah.
So, have you heard of a view, and what is a view?
View is just norm in database related thing. I didn't know, but generally view is like in applications while I'm using to view any details like that.
Yeah.
At that moment, I had heard that terminology.
So view is something that you view in a database.
Yeah. Okay.
Come again?
Yeah. Please continue.
Okay. See, the thing is, there are two things that we have seen, right, in the earlier
Yeah.
sessions that I have shown you, Snaply,
Yeah.
because this has been created by Hibernate, right? So when I say
Yes.
describe, then it has two things, right? One is a view,
Yeah.
and one
Mm.
is sequence, right?
Mm. Yes. Yes.
So what is a view? A view is a query that we
Okay.
have saved, right? A view is something that we create at the random time, right? For example,
Okay.
uh, there might be a chance where I want to write a complex query. We know
Oh.
that we have to divide the data, right, in different tables.
Yeah.
That this thing is important. So there might be a chance that we have to, for to access certain data, especially that this happens in the payment stream. So I want to access a data which happens to be in multiple databases, right?
Okay.
So if I want that thing, and whether I can write the query with the Hibernate also, and whether I need to access the data right, because in reporting we want different data to be present, right? So in
Yes,
which
yes,
country the
yes.
payment has been done, and
Yeah,
there are different things with the payments, right? So what
yeah,
ends up happening if a developer, because developers are not supposed to be database experts, right? I
yes,
get to know a lot of database thing because I was in the payments team for a while, and they were asking a lot of things that I need to do. So that's how I
yeah,
get into that. Then I get into some company which were scaling. Then I need to know all these things, right? So we
yeah.
are not going to cover whatever I know in this syllabus, but a view is a thing that we usually write for non-experienced database users. That can be the
Okay.
freshers also, right? So they
Yes.
might not be able to write queries, complex queries, right? So
Yeah.
we want to give something that, okay, because we will have this thing, right? For example, we will, okay, let's connect over Swiggy, right? For example, we will be having only this state tables, right?
Yeah.
All are the tables over here. But for example,
Yeah.
someone recently joins our team, and let's suppose he is not a developer, he is from the technical support team, right? Or
Yeah.
operation support teams, and who has just managed to learn the SQL, right? But
Yes.
we are he is in the customer support, right? So we don't expect
Yeah.
from him them that they know the database very well, or the queries
Yes.
very well, right? And not especially not the database expert. We don't expect them to be the database expert because they are not from that domain. So what's end up doing
Mm.
that we usually don't provide them access of the master. We provided the access of the replica or the slaves, right? So what ends up happening that we know that they won't be able to write complex queries on their own, but they want data, right? Because people
Yes.
require data. For sometimes we write the backend portal so that the people will be this support people will be able to access all the data, right? But it is not
Yeah.
possible for the developers if they are facing the resource crunch to create a lot of data, a lot of pages, backend pages that can show the data whatever has been happened with the flow of a user, right? For example, with the
Yeah.
payments, I mean, if the resources we have a resource crunch, we cannot show the entire flow that, okay, user has tried to book an flight at 9:10, and then this happened, then card declined at 9:20 because there was not enough balance. Then at 22, what ends up happening is uh, the flight was not flight was booked. He entered the wrong OTP, and then later on he tried to book it again, but the payment didn't went through. So if the user try to complain that, okay, the thing is your flight booking system is not working, then we can see the logs, right? But only if
Yes.
it is in up, we have the backend portal, right? But if we are not able to make the backend portal, then this thing should not come to a developer, right? Because we have other
Yeah.
tasks to do as well. So what we can do in these cases, we can have a replica database, right? And we can give the access to them later on. We will replicate the data on the next day from the master, right? Or
Yes.
to the slave. You can say with the replica or the slave. So on the day end, we will replicate the data into the slave, and they can query the slave data, right? They can query the
Yeah.
slave data, but again the thing is they are not the tech savvy people, and they just know how to use basic SQL, not in depth, right? So they cannot write very good SQL commands. So what's end up doing is we create a view for them. So a view
Okay.
will be, so what a view will be a SQL query that will be executed, right? A view will be a view, like for example, a view will be a combination of these two tables, right? These two tables and some columns. Who
Okay.
And let's see what's a practical example. So there are few questions which what happens with a view. I can select a few columns from each table and create a view, right? So what's
Mm.
end up doing, or what's the whenever someone some interviewer takes the interview, they ask few questions regarding this. One question is
Okay.
that, so if you create a view out of the table, will
Okay.
this view, if I select again, will this view be updated, or will it be a static data present? Or how a view is different from a table, right? if i
Yeah. Yeah.
if I enter, I mean, for example, at t1 time, I hit a query. I try to see a view, right? And a view has
Yeah.
10 rows. And if later
Mm.
on the user has increased or the order has increased, if again at t2 time, when order and user has been increased, if I try to access the same view again, will the data shown to me, will be that data will be stale, or that data will be new, right? First question is this.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the the use case of view, then I will tell the question. But I'm just telling you that how the views.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the questions of the view that we get, right? So
Yes.
now we will directly see the view, and the life cycle also we will see that how it works, right?
Yeah.
So basically, what happens? I can I can store a view. Very first thing is views are stored in the database metadata, right? View definition is like we just the SQL we have a SQL query which we store in the system, and
Yeah.
whenever you try to access the view, then what happens that it will hit that particular query and then
Yeah.
give you the result, right? But the
Yeah.
end user won't know it, right? End user will know that okay, I have a view named XYZ, and he will just do select asterisk from XYZ. But
Yeah.
internally there will be a query saved that will be executed and the return result will be given. So in that particular way, the user don't need to know the complex things of a database, right? this
Yeah.
this is all the theory till now. Let's see a live example. This will make you
Okay.
things better, right? I think
Yeah.
most of the things has went to you, over your head, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. If something like this is happening, you can mention that okay, I'm not getting whatever you are telling. Cool. So that's why we do the practical stuff, right? So
Yes. Yes.
now, okay, so I if I need to create table, then I use like this, right? Create table, right?
Yeah.
But I am not creating a table, right? So what I don't do, I will create a view.
You.
Cool. And let's okay, we need to first see that which view we are going to create. Okay. Let's create a view of. Okay, so I want data from all the data from order tables and employee tables. Cool.
Mm.
Let's get all the orders from the orders tables and employee tables. In this way, we will
Okay.
know that which order name has been given the which users, right? So
Mm.
what I'll do, so we have already seen joins, right? So we will be using inner join for this.
Mm.
And what I'll end up doing, I will do create. Okay, let's see the let me show you the query first. Select asterisk from public and then users, and okay, let's not, okay, let me write first it, then I will use inner join, and okay, as inner join, and then what I want it from public orders and on, and I can use o dot id, my bad, u dot id equals to o dot user id, right? And
U is not provided at the, as
yes, so, and o was also not provided, right?
yeah.
So this is the data, right, that I
Yeah.
can get. And let's say I want to get data where, okay, let's have this data only, right? So this is the data that we'll get,
Mm.
but I don't want data in this way, right? In this format I don't
Yeah.
want the data. Okay, I want data. Okay, I want data like user dot id as user id. Cool. Because it's not making sense id, right? We know
Mm.
this thing, we know that this is the data from the
Mm.
user tables and this is the data of the product id, right? Oh, order
Yeah.
id. But if we'll show this data to someone from the ops team, then they won't be able to distinct, right? Because they haven't seen these two tables, and they
Yeah.
are also not database people, right? Not database experts.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm taking it as user id, and what I will do, I will take the u dot first name, and then I will try to concatenate it, right, with
Dot last name.
u dot last name. Okay, and then I will try to get the user dot
U dot
email,
email. U dot phone
and then
number.
the phone number is also required. And I, one thing that I can do is that phone number I won't, I just directly use it, right? The reason is phone number is unique, right? It's not in
Yes.
both the tables. But the thing
Yeah.
is, as a pro developer, we should write this, right? As a database expert, we always
Yeah.
write this because there might be a chance if the or something with a phone number or something similar happens in this table, we don't want ambiguity, right? Ever, we don't want ambiguity. So user dot phone number also we want, and email id also we have, and then we can take o dot id as order id, right? Because if some
Mm.
people want to use order id somewhere, then they can pass it, or they can even
Yeah.
tell the developer that this is the order id, right?
Yeah.
And then they want created
Hold
date,
on.
right? Created date of user as order,
Yes.
sorry, order created date, order created date, order created date, because we don't want the user created date, right?
Yeah.
and we want the price. O dot price
Price.
as order total
Price.
amount. Cool. Okay, so one thing that I have left out is is username. Cool. So this is the data. Okay, let me remove everything. This is the data that we are getting, right? User ID,
Yes.
username, email, phone number, order ID, order created date, and order total amount. This data.
Mm.
Now you understand the value of S, right? Because this data
Yes.
makes more sense to the ops people or any people, right? Even if I'm in a call with the payments team people, they are usually business people, right? They won't understand what's happening, so they want data to
Mm.
be in this matter only, right? And we can even pass this data if we use some this Postgres, not Postgres, um, my admin PHP my admin or MySQL also has some workbench or dbeaver, then they have the data to get this table, this this result I can export as a Excel, right? This is how
Yes.
these people works, the business people, because they are good with the Excel thing, right? So I can pass this data as an Excel also to them, so this thing will make sense to them, right? So now there is a person in the ops team who cannot write this query, right? Especially
Yes.
if they are from the ops team, right, and don't know the SQL. We have hired because the their job profile don't make them, right, to learn SQL, right? Eventually we can ask them, but at the very start they can't be in a few days, right? So what I
Yeah.
can do, I can create a view for them, right? They cannot write
Yeah.
this query, so I know they cannot write this query. So what I will do, I will create a view, right? And
Okay.
let's say order details. Let's say
Okay.
user order details, right? User or ops order details. Ops order details, right? So this is the name of the view,
Okay.
right? And I will say that take it as, now I will paste the query, right? This is the
Mm.
query that we have used, right? So
Okay.
what I will do, and if I'll try enter, a view has been created, right?
Okay.
And now if I'll do this, you will find there is a
Ops
view,
order.
right?
Yeah.
And now the ops people can come and they can directly do the select star from public, because schema is public, and directly
Mm.
ops this order and enter, and this is the
Yeah.
data that they get, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to know that multiple table exist or not exist, right? They don't want to know, they don't have to know the
Yeah.
various
Yeah.
check that exist or the various thing that exist. Usually what happens, end up happening, the user table has a column active, right? Whether user is
Yes.
active or not, right? So status of a user will be there, which will be a enum. One value will be active, zero value be inactive, two order blocked, three order something else can happen. So we can
Yeah.
add we have just written a query, right? So what is a view? View is just a saved query, right?
Yeah.
Which can be accessed directly. It is basically used to make the query simpler, right? If people
Yes.
don't have the access, then they can only do this, right? If they know only the select query they know, and the where query they know, this is the most basic item, right? So what they can
Yes.
do, they can order by, right? Again, if I haven't
Yeah.
done the order by, then they can order by ID, right? DESC. Okay, okay,
User underscore ID.
okay. Order underscore ID, or yeah, user underscore ID, order underscore ID, right? So it will be
Yeah.
treated as a table, right? They won't even know that okay, it is not a table, right?
Yeah.
So even though it's a view, but it will treat it as a table. Everything that we can do, filter we can apply, group by we can apply, having we can apply, everything we can apply that we can apply to a table, everything will be accessible to that. But the view is different because view is the save query, right? And
Yes.
we can write a view, any query we can write. It's not like a simple query we need to write. We have used joins over here, right? We can even use the
Yes.
subquery over here. We can even write a
Yeah.
simple query. There is no constraint that we cannot use X, Y, and Z stuff, right? Whatever you can write, you can write. Whatever query you can write in a database is eligible to be saved as
Mm-hmm.
a view. So what is a view now?
View is like maintaining a safe of query where we can execute like a table.
Yes. Now one more thing that we need to do, check that if ops order and then details. If I'll try to do this only, then also you will see these things, right? Visible,
Describe.
right? So everything
Yeah.
it has, right?
Yes.
So you can get the data as well. And these data, I haven't mentioned these data, right? From where
Yeah.
it knows that okay, varchar is only 30. It has taken
Mm.
that details from the user table, right? Because
Yes.
if we do the users, so over here you will see the phone number is varchar 30, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it has taken all the data from here only, right?
Yeah.
So we can check the data in the column as well over here, right? So
Yeah.
username, see over here, username was first name and last name is there, right? So it
Yeah.
is already it. I mean, we have covered what is a text, right?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if you are not aware, if you have forgotten, then you can just do this thing, right? So you can check that it's a variable length, right? No limit specified.
No, no.
So
Yeah.
these two has 255 character length, right? But the thing is, it does not. I mean, the database does not. I mean, created a username of 255 plus 255, right? 110 and 500, 410. So 510, of character varying of 510 it has not created, right? It has created something which has no limit, right? Which has no limit. The reason is,
Yes.
first I have concatenate two columns with a space as well, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I have done it for the first time, but there might be a chance that other data also requires to be there. So it, instead of combining these two, it has used a text, right? Which is a better alternative if you don't know what data will be there, right? Other data
Mm.
they have just taken straight from the columns, right? If some
Yes.
data needs to be updated, they have already updated it. Cool. So one thing is there, this thing we need to know, and we need to know the life cycle as well. So one thing we know, okay, so whenever I'm trying to access a view, right? So
Mm.
if I'm trying to access a view or like this, so this data is there, right? Let's
Yeah.
suppose
Yeah.
I delete this order,
Mm.
then will the data updated or not? Will I get the 7 rows instead of 8 or not? Is this the saved, is this data saved in the view or not? Is the query saved or is the result saved? The answer is query
I
saved,
think
right?
query is saved.
Yeah, the answer is query saved because we have already seen how to create a view. So query is
Yeah.
saved. So whatever the changes in the database happen, the
Yeah.
will get the data as
Updated data.
yes. Okay, and now one thing I just remember one thing we haven't done entire subquery as well. I just remember one thing because in the how many types of subqueries we have done?
We have like correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery, select class subquery, where class subquery.
Yes.
Uh, these things we have done. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Come again. Come again.
Select class subquery, where class subquery,
Hmm.
having class subquery,
Hmm.
um, correlated subquery, and
Wait.
not,
So where, right? And
yeah,
which
select class,
select clause and having clause, right?
having class, yeah,
Okay. So
correlated,
how many clause are there in a single query? Select asterisk from public and let's say orders, right? Where
yeah,
then I can do group by and then I can do having, right? So there is a having, there is a select clause, right? There is a where
yes,
clause,
where
right? There is a having clause,
they
right?
have, yes,
There is a from clause as well, right?
yeah,
We have seen that in a from clause we don't need to write as, right? But in select clause we
yeah.
need to write as if we want to change the
Okay,
thing, if we want to use
okay,
the alias. So there is a
mm,
from clause of query as well, right? It is an important item.
yes,
So let's say okay, let's say select star from public users. We have public users. So it is simple, right? In the from clause, if we have a subquery, then it will be a from clause subquery, right? So
yes,
this is a users, right? So okay, let's take this thing only. So instead of taking data from users, if if I'll just wait, let me use a join over here. Okay, so this is the okay, this is a view that I have opened, right? So this is the query, right?
yes,
This is a query, right? Let me use it as the subquery. So okay, the column name is not updated over here, so let me just update the column name again to the username da, 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 as username, right?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so let me just copy this and And okay, so what I'll do, select asterisk from public, right? From public something
Yes.
I'll do, right, usually. So if I don't do from public in something, right? So instead of this, in the from clause, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a subquery. I
Yes.
will start a subquery, right? Then I'm going to end the subquery, right?
Yes.
And I will do as, and
Okay.
what is this user, user order, user order summary, right? Let's say user order summary, or just take as user order summary, UOS. Cool. And
In
what
from class, we should not use as, right? Like we can. There is no mandatory of using as. Do
yes,
we need
there
to
is no
use?
necessity to using as, right?
Yeah.
But we can, right?
Yeah.
So we get this data, right?
Yes.
So over here, what I can do, I can even update. Okay, I can even update the data. We haven't taken the entire data, right? So UOS I can use, instead of taking everything, I just want user ID and UOS dot username, right? And I want order total amount, UOS order total total amount. Okay, cool. Let me just, okay, TOTA and AMONT, right? And if I try
Yes.
to access it, then I am getting a, I'm using a table, right? I'm using a
Yes.
query, my bad, I'm using a query, this query, and
Mm.
taking the result of this query as a table, right?
Yes.
And then I'm filtering, I mean I can filter the data as well. Right now I'm not filtering the data. Right now what
Yeah.
I'm doing, I'm just taking data out of it, right? Like a
Yes.
table. It is not a table, but I'm taking data as a table, right?
Yeah.
So instead of doing this, what I can do, I can just create this. Instead of using it as a subquery, I can just save it, right, directly.
Yeah.
And then, so if you try to think regarding this, so when I try to access, when I'll say, okay, when I'll say this thing, right? Select asterisk from public, and then this, right? Then
Yeah.
what's happening? A subquery, a view is nothing, just a from clause subquery, isn't it?
Yes.
You get the gist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you replace this, then it will be same. Whatever the
Yeah.
result
Yeah.
is coming over here, and if we try to use it as a subquery,
Yes.
then
Yes.
it
Yes.
will be same. So a view is nothing, just a from clause subquery,
From class subquery. Yes.
right? So if you are able to write the from clause subquery, then you
Yeah.
can convert the from clause subquery. So the subquery part from the from clause, you can just save it simply, and then it will be converted. If I directly select it, then it will be converted into from clause subquery by default, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this thing we need to understand, and again, view is, we can say it in the technical terms that view is simply a from clause subquery where we are saving the subquery directly and giving a name, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is are technically, you can say, to some person who has technically know these terminologies, right? So if you
Yes.
are in an
Yes.
interview, especially in a service based firm where people don't know these terminologies and don't tech savvy, which usually the case. So over there, if you try to say the answer like this, that okay, this is a from clause subquery, view is a part of from clause subquery, then they won't going to understand, right? So we need to answer in a simple manner. So you are going to say the view is a stored
From
query,
class sub.
right? And has given a name. So whenever we are
Yes.
trying to access that particular view, then the saved query will be executed and that result will be provided to us.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay, so I'm saying, is it fine now? Is it better?
No, still it's breaking.
Okay, I think this is an internet issue, not. Okay, so I'm speaking louder already.
Breaking.
It's still breaking. All right, let's wait a few seconds. Let me know if my voice is not breaking whenever. Let me speak till now. Till then, I'm audible, or is it better? Hello, hello. You are on mute, Ashok.
It's okay. It's okay. Now it's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So where were we? Okay. So what I'm saying is that whenever you want to answer, to please try to answer in a standard definition,
Technical.
right? Okay. If
Yeah.
don't be tech savvy, especially with the people of the service based one, right? Because they won't understand.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's what's the end point. I'm not making a this because today also one of my student called and the question that they were asking is not making sense. Okay, let me stop the video and then we can have these conversations.